Episode 27 of the GBGuns Armory, looking back at stuff that's been reviewed in the past, because I want this to be sort of the Reddit thread where we can all share our experiences. All of the things covered in this series have been out for a while, so chances are you've got one or know someone who has, or you tried it, or you've had thoughts about it, versus a regular review, which tends to be brand new firearms, and I'm the only guy that's got the experience and you guys are watching to learn from me. Here I want everyone to learn from everyone. In this episode, talking about the Canik Mete series. Not meat, even though it's spelled meat. Mete is a pronunciation. It's a Turkish word that no one in the US had ever heard of before until this came out, and then suddenly everyone was an expert on it. That was really annoying, being one of the first guys to have to say the word on camera and then having it wrong. Everyone suddenly, I had no idea we had so many Turkish speakers in the United States. Anyways, the Mete line for me represented Canik pistols becoming their own thing. Now, the TP9DA is obviously heavily inspired by the Walther P99, and we've had other Caniks along the line that were CZ based and things like that. And while the TP9 series was still very much a Turkish alternative universe version of a Walther PPQ, it wasn't until the Mete line that, for me, as a gun nerd, I felt there was an actual separation there, that it had really become its own thing. Of course, these things are feature-packed, optics ready, coming with the mag well, coming with all kinds of tools, a great trigger, light take-up, got a decent amount of travel on that take-up, but a very crisp break, and that reset, very short. Great shooting guns. Personal favorite of Tia's. She's run the SFX and SFX, SFT, and this one, the SF, in training courses and loved them. And she carries an MC9, which is also in the same family. As far as what all makes the Mete line different, I have an article on that. I dove into it and did a Canik guide and things like that. I won't go too deep into it for you guys. Is dot still good? Yes, it is. But very impressive pistols, incredible value, and you get quite a kit in the box. They're a pretty nice purchase to have, and of course people now trust them. It's well past the whole, I don't know, this is some import, is it going to be around thing. And I think that's another huge accomplishment for Canik. I remember when they weren't trusted. I remember when they were sprung for NATO loads, and so when you put 10% weaker American ammo in it, and then you make it a budget gun, so somebody new, maybe not that experienced of a shooter, gets one and they have a little bit of a limp wrist problem, it's okay to admit it, the guns end up choking. And then there was this bad reputation that Caniks needed +P or wouldn't run on non-NATO. Like 7 years ago, I did a video disproving that it just requires some form. And since then, of course, Canik has revised their guns for the ones coming to the US to be able to run on the softer ammunition that we have. If you guys didn't know, NATO spec is 10% higher pressure than SAMI spec. You know what else is 10% higher than SAMI normal? Is +P. So NATO and +P are about equivalent pressure, so they take a heavier spring. Anyways, I absolutely love these things. If I was a striker guy, I would be just as hardcore about them as Tia is. But I prefer my DASAs. I like hammer fired. That doesn't mean that I don't like these things. I'm curious to hear about your opinion change of Canik over the ages. Are you one of the guys that questioned them and doubted them in the beginning? Rightfully so. We didn't have any other information. And now trust them? Or are you somebody who just jumped in when they were already the norm, already accepted, and already loved? Spectacular guns. This one in particular, the SF, is the 4-inch barrel 15-round gun. That's right, Glock 19 size, but way better ergonomics, better trigger, more features, and more stuff in the box than any Glock has ever come out with. This particular model seemed to kind of get released under the radar because everyone's distracted by the competition models, but still an excellent pistol. What are your thoughts on the Caniks? So I'll hit another one on here. This might ruffle some feathers. Every time I review a Turkish pistol, I get lots of comments. I mean, really any foreign gun. I get lots of comments about, oh, I would never buy that because it's from that country, blah, blah, blah. Their government is terrible. Okay, I'll give you that. But who made this? Is it a government-backed factory and government employees? Is it part of the regime? Or is it a private company with private citizens working there trying to make a buck? Another gun that kind of brings up that question is like FMK. They're the only handgun manufacturer in California. I like supporting that resistance. At the same time, I know their tax dollars are going to the state of California, a state that is openly trying to deny its citizens' rights. So, how do we look at that? If you can buy something from California, I think you can buy something from a foreign country, so long as it's a private company and private citizens working there. That's my take on it. That, and I'm an omnivore. I prefer to look at the device rather than the politics that are behind it. But maybe I'm off. Let me know what your thoughts are. Sorry if I hurt your feelings, but not really, because I'm open to hear what your thoughts are. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow.